All right, everybody. Welcome to Brazos Podcast, episode 10. Uh, I have my friend here, my partner in crime, best friends forever, Mr. Luis Coruja. How you doing, brother?
Doing great, brother. So happy to have achieved 10 episodes already.
That's right. Yeah,
So
it's
we're there.
yeah. Looking forward to 20 now. That's the new.
Yeah,
That's the new
that's it.
landmark.
The
Yeah.
goal
First,
now for the 10th episode is to have 10 views on YouTube.
I will
It's
put
gonna
an
be
ad.
great.
I will put an ad for it, and then to be fair, the last episode we didn't promote very well because I was super late with work. But
Yeah,
this one,
yeah.
this one, it's closer to the end of the
The
event, so
weekend.
there's a buzz. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But
Yeah, next time we do it right after the event ends. I think it's gonna be better. But yeah, we have our things to do, and this
yeah,
is still like it's
A-
it's something that we do for love, but one day it's gonna be
one day it's gonna
uh,
be the full time job.
one of the jobs. So yeah,
No, but actually, you know what? I think it's good to do like we're doing today because the event ended almost 24 hours, a little more than 24
yeah,
hours,
almost 48 actually.
almost
No, yeah,
48.
yeah, that's true.
I,
36
I,
hours. Yeah,
yeah, I feel like maybe
yeah,
the sweet spot is 24 hours because it's nice to have a day to like read about it, rewatch the most important. Like I enjoy it because like I get to prepare, I
yeah,
get to
and
like watch,
digest.
digest, and like see what people are talking about, see like the most important outtakes from it. So yeah, I think it's cool. But yeah, episode 10, there's a lot more coming. We're gonna have a lot more guests. There's a lot more plans that we have. So for all those six viewers or 10 million that are watching right now, stay tuned because this is not gonna get worse.
Yeah, it's gonna get better.
It's gonna
Yeah,
get it's gonna keep getting better, and we're working on new ideas. But anyhow, we got so much to talk about today. We have obviously the Margaret River Pro, super fun event, super a lot of things going on there. The Mid Year cut, and also like uh, the Challenger Series coming up. Go Gold Coast Pro coming up next week, I believe. So we're gonna touch a little bit on that and see how the prospects are doing. What are we hoping for? I think it's gonna be very interesting. But first, Kuruja, let's hear about Margaret River. What are your favorite things about it? What some of the things that you love about the event? Some of the highlights, just overall feeling from the event.
yeah. Actually, I'm looking at the not at you right now. I'm looking at the screen with the heats and the results of those heats from this event that we're touching now. Because there were some hits that I would like to point or to touch more, And man, I like this event. For some people, it's very boring because the wave doesn't have much emotion. Besides the end section, And for other people, it's nice because we get to see the surfers surfing big
On edge.
waves,
Yeah.
yeah, on the edge and surfing with big boards, things that we're not used to. And like my opinion, I used to live there. I love that place. I don't love that wave actually, but I think it's a good wave to have on tour. I still,
Totally.
as I said before, I still prefer this wave as a challenger series event and have a different wave, like more like a barreling left-hander or maybe a Bali event. But still, Margaret River is so nice, man. The environment's nice. Surfers like to go there because they get to surf so many different waves around town. And the event itself, oh, sorry, let me just put on silent on my cell phone. It's the first thing to do and I forgot. But yeah, like this event actually had very strange forecasts and very windy conditions. And I think the only day that we saw a good like size and shape on the waves was the first and the last the 2 days were the first and the last days of competition. But yeah, it ended the way most of us expected with John final, and then finals. It's where everything can happen. And we saw him winning twice there and being a runner-up twice. Once to Adriano de Souza, now to Jack Robinson, a local boy. And the other guys that I think maybe surprised me a lot at this event were Matthew McGillivray, who I said that I
Yeah,
wouldn't meet if he
sure.
got cut. And I won't say that Jadson Andre and Samuel Pupo surprised me, because we've seen them surfing very well on waves like that at Sunset or in Portugal. But they did better than I was expecting. And Nat Young is very good. Is a very good surfer on those right-handers. He comes from Santa Cruz, but um,
But you know
I
what?
think he hadn't performed that well during the year so far. So I think he was the best surfer he did the whole year. And yeah, that's my wrap up from the last day, or for the last rounds of the event on the men's side. What's your point?
Yeah. No, no. My impressions for the event, I actually enjoy it because I feel like, even I was watching here with Suzanne, and we would both get excited. She's become she's become a surf expert. It's really fun. Uh, she would guess the scores sometimes, and she'd get pretty close. Sometimes she'd get closer to me, but
Nice.
yeah. But I love watching big waves because just the wave itself, it's like, oh my god, look at the size of that monster, So like, I think it's exciting. Yeah, maybe the surfing is not as fast and high performance and as like, like as entertaining as a wave like snappers or trestles or something like that. But still, it's I thought it definitely has a unique characteristic, and it deserves its place on the tour. Like I much prefer Margaret River to Sunset, for example.
Oh yeah. Mhm.
So like because they're both like somewhat comparable because of like bigger, like stormy wave with like a weird scrambly phase. But I think Margaret River has its charm, and this was an interesting event because I thought a lot of surfers had very uninspired heats. Uh, for example, I thought Kelly was not having a
No,
very inspiring event.
he
Miguel
never
Pupo,
does there. I mean, he
yeah,
did once, but he does not there in Sunset.
yeah. I mean, even some other surfers like Miguel Pupo was his heat against Italo Hughes, like very out of rhythm with the wave. Uh, you know, it was weird. Like there was like a almost like I feel like some of the athletes that made the cut were not super fired up for it, and the athletes that were fighting for the cut obviously were like, desperate and dying for it. Like Jadson, Andrea was super fun to watch. Like even the heat that he lost against, I think he lost to Jordy, right? I don't remember
Yeah,
now. I thought he surfed well. I thought he surfed well that heat. I thought he
I
was doing
disagree, but yeah, I'll talk about that later.
yeah, yeah. Well, the his one of his scores I thought was underscored, so we can go over it later.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
His high wave I thought was underscored. Then he ended up in combo. But anyway, uh, uh, I forgot my train of thought now. I mean, Jack Robinson was insane. Like that air on the final was like amazing, right? Very well deserved. It was fun to see him win. I think of all the Australian surfers, he's the most Brazilian, right? Like he's married to a Brazilian girl, has a Brazilian coach,
Yeah.
and it's just like it's just so fun to watch him, and he seems like such a great guy. So I always feel happy when he does well. John very consistent as always. I was not expecting anything less
Oh,
from him.
quarters and semifinal were bizarre, man.
Yeah, yeah, he's doing what everybody expected of him. But honestly, to be 100% honest, I was just excited to get past this event so we can go after cut and see what's going to happen because it's a completely new situation for
Yeah.
the tour. And then yeah, I'm sad. Some of our favorites, like we said on the last episode, like Vonshenka, it's leaving, and it's really a bummer. And then on the women's side, we got Sally Fitzgibbons, which has been like a very consistent name. On the women's side, she made top three last year, and she's off. So yeah, so that's my overall take.
Even Malia Manuel, she's out. You know, she made
Yeah,
a final
exactly.
this year, and she's been so consistent in the past years, and she's out. It's hard.
Yeah, it's like I said, like man, having a cut for only 10 for women's, it's like
It's nothing.
it's brutal. Yeah, it's brutal. I mean, it should have been at least 12, like I don't know, like obviously it's hard to make heats with 12, but I just think the
No, but
I
they're
think
gonna be 12. They're gonna be 12. They're gonna have two wild cards. And
oh yeah, you're right. Yeah,
maybe
so
they should have like 14 and then make a 16 woman event.
yeah, it's gonna
But yeah,
be
but it's not a big that's not a big change because nowadays the events are 18, so yeah, there's nothing.
right. Well, it's also like I am excited to get past this event too, because a lot of my favorite events are about to come up, or favorite waves that I think are entertaining to watch
Yeah,
about to come up. So I think the best of the year is yet to come, like uh, excitement wise. So yeah, I'm glad Margaret River is open, and I'm ready for G-Land. I think G-Land is gonna be like if they get a good 12, which I hope they do. It's gonna be insane.
yeah, yeah, man. Yeah, like just going back to the to Margie's on the women's side, we had a big surprise. I mean, that was I think that was the highlight of the whole event. Um, we saw Gabriella Bryan from Hawaii. She needed to make the final, and she
It
did
did.
get the final. And then Isabella Nichols, she had to win the event, and she did. She won the event. So
Yeah, it
those two
was.
girls, man, they were so clutch. You know, when it mattered the most, they made the most, and they achieved their goals. And we saw like Tatiana Weston qualifying in the last place. She got dropped to 10th. You know, she won an event and she lost on round three on all other four events. So she was on the ball. And now I think Tati is gonna start to surf way better. I think she's gonna shine on the second part of the year, and maybe her chance to be a world champion because now she's like she had a shock, like hey, wake up because you almost fell off tour. So just do what you can do because last year she was runner up.
Yeah.
And it
Well,
happened like to Connor Coffin, it happened to Morgan Sivelich. Both guys got kicked out in the mid-year cut, and they were finalists last year. So imagine that, man. One day you are like the fourth in the world, and then the other year, five
you're
events
out.
later, you're out.
Yeah, and it's interesting because in the women's it's even worse because it's like one event can changes everything. I think
Yeah,
we see this in the men's too, right? Like the top five, like Jack Robinson's in the top five now, and he went up 10 positions just by one event. And
yeah,
that's like and that's with like 32 surfers. Now put that to 17, like one good result and one bad result makes a huge difference. Makes a
yeah.
huge difference.
That's true.
Everyone's so
That's true.
yeah, it's so close now. So it's gonna be one thing that I find is very interesting because the rankings now is pretty much wide open for everybody. Because like I feel like the difference from Felipe Toledo, which is number one, to I think number four. I don't remember Jack, but
Ethan
they're
Ewing,
all
who
Ethan
made
Ewing,
three semifinals already this year.
very
Three
consistent this
semifinals,
year. Yeah,
only on right-hander point breaks.
yeah, and but I think they're all in the 20,000 point range, right? So they're all like super close to each other. It's like a matter of like one making a round of 16 and the other making a quarterfinal. There's already a switch for
Yeah,
so it's like there's nothing. there's no one like that is doing it a lot better than everybody else. Like it's been a lot of turnaround with the events, different winners, which is great because it's gonna bring a lot of like excitement for these last 5 events. And we have and throw Gabriel Medina in that mix. Like, yeah, like
Hmm.
I was watching, dude. Think about this. Like, I think number 5. I'm even gonna put my. I'm looking at my phone right here because I want to get these numbers right. Uh, okay, I want to look at the men's rankings, and if you want to do the same,
I'm already
uh,
with the ratings
okay, okay.
on my
So,
screen here.
all right, perfect. So, Italo Ferreira is currently sitting at number fifth, 5,
Fifth, yeah,
right? Yeah.
yeah, number
So
five.
he has like roughly 19,000 points, right? So let's
Yeah.
say number 5 qualifies with twice as many points as he has now, which would be like around 38,000 points,
Hmm.
right? Now imagine comes and Gabriel already scored 10,000 and is only 28,000 from that number. That's kind of like that would throw a whole wrench on the system, which I know it sounds like very optimistic, but it's not crazy to think about. That's totally possible.
Yeah,
And
he can make it, and he made it clear on the interview during Felipe's heat.
yeah,
He
that was
said
such a
he's
great
not
moment.
thinking about it, but he said that it's possible, and he's looking for it. You know.
Right. But check this out. It gets crazier. You're seeing this too. Like, all right, so Italo's number 5, right? So he has
Yeah.
18,895 points. Number 10, Griffin, has 17,405 points. That's pretty much like one heat over or one heat less. There's a little more, a
Yeah.
little less than that. So it's so close. It's so close now. Anybody that made the cut pretty much has a chance at the top 5. It's not crazy to think, yeah, maybe Jadson and Jake and Matthew, but from pretty much Seth Moniz on, everybody has a really good shot to make it.
And what an Australian like for Seth Moniz, eh? Two last
Yeah,
positions, man. Wow.
I yeah he entered. I think he entered in the top 5 or top
He
3.
was third,
Yeah, exactly. And now he's like almost didn't make it.
16th.
Yeah, almost didn't make the cut. So it's I mean Kelly's the same, right? Kelly's didn't have a good leg at all. He was number 2 at the start, and now he's 13th. So uh, Jordy's having a slow recovery. Kyle Belly did a little better. Uh, Miguel has been around the same. So it's very very wide open. It was good to see a couple of Australians climbing up, Ethan and Jack. I think everybody's expecting Felipe, John, and Adel to be where they are, right? Like in the top 5 or so.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Kanoa's right there. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's all very open right now. I think this may be one of the most um, balanced
Tight, yeah.
years. Yeah, balanced years points wise, right?
Yeah, for sure, man. And even if you think about Baron Mamiya, who's a wild card, like he's done well in Hawaii, obviously, and then now at Margaret River, he got into the.
All right, we're
We're
back.
back.
We're back. There's gonna be
We're
so many.
back.
Yeah, sorry, technical difficulties, but if you're watching or listening, you probably didn't even notice because I am gonna edit all this bullshit out and make it pretty.
Yeah, but like internet can be like that when you're living in the middle of the jungle. I'm from Brazil, so
Yeah,
I'm in the middle of the monkeys and trees and rivers and crocodile.
in
Ah, fucking crocodile here.
in
And
Coruja's defense, I think this time was my fault. I think it was
you are in
I'm
America,
in
right?
well, yes, but
Mm.
I'm in a small town called Carson City, Nevada at the moment. So it's called the high desert, and I assume they're probably all high because the internet is not working great.
All right.
But but okay, I'm trying to remember what we're talking. We're talking about the points. We're talking about
Yeah, we're
things
talking
being
about the points and the possibility of Gabriel Medina making the top five, and like how one heat win can change the ratings radically and things like that.
yeah, it's insane. It's all open. I am very excited. Now, I want to touch base a little bit too with you of like of the athletes that get cut. Like, so you work with a lot of athletes, and you are a coach, and you're a coach, and you're a judge, and you're working with like athletes in competition mode. Uh, so now that we have the Challenger Series starting, right? So you have
Yeah,
athletes that are kind of like on a low frequency emotionally. They're coming from the cut, like the Morgans, the João, in a very fragile emotional state. And if you have athletes that are in a high emotional state, athletes that qualified for the OQS, and they made the spots from whatever region they're from, and they're all meeting on these events. Uh, how do you see that affecting the results? Do you feel like the psychological part can make a huge effect on the athletes? We saw this last year. Do you think this is going to be different this year? And you have athletes that, for example, like João, last year he came from the QS, and now he's coming from the CT. And how is that going to affect their performance? How are you seeing this?
oh man, I think it all depends on each individual, because
Hmm.
some people they just lose their confidence and like
Motivation.
their motivation, especially when things don't go their way. And some people they get stronger with that. They're like more fired up and more like one guy that I feel he always gets pumped and comes back stronger. It's Ezekiel Lau, for example. Zeke and as the same as Jadson, for example. Both guys they've been in and out of tour, and man, they never give up, and then they go and win a 10,000 points event or Challenger Series event right after they lose their spot amongst the best. And depends. We're gonna see like the first event now at Gold Coast is gonna be a very good one to watch because the waves are pumping. I've seen some images from there, like guys catching barrels, like waves with 5 or 6 barrels, 28 seconds barreling, and good turns and everything. So I think it's gonna be a really fun event to watch because the QS or the Challenger Series, it's different. I've been to
Right.
those events, and man, there's more energy. There's more stamina. I don't know. You feel that the things
Hunger.
are,
Yeah.
yeah, things are boiling.
It's kind of like
And
it's kind of like what we have in Brazil, the Série B. It's like
yeah, that's it, man. It's a harder field to play. And of course, there are many more competitors. There are 96 men and I think 64 women. So it's a lot of people, and there's no losing rounds. If you lose, you lose. You're out. So
and
you start competing with 3 other guys, and if you don't make the cut, or if you're not one of the two better surfers on your heat, you're out, man. There's no second
Kruja,
chance.
I have a question for you. So, seating wise, do the athletes that come from the CT, do they have like any advantage when it comes to seating on the heats?
They have the high seed.
The highest seat. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
like
So
Owen
that
Wright, if he does compete, he's gonna have one of the highest seeding, same as Zeke Law or Morgan or Connor Coffin, who's one to watch because that's a right-hander, same as Rincon, and the guys that have qualified last in the regional QS ratings, they're gonna have the lowest rate seeding. So you can imagine like the highest seeded guys are gonna be the CT guys that did make the cut because they can compete and they will compete. Some of them will compete. Guys like Kelly Slater are gonna be competing at Gold Coast. So the
yeah.
guys that made the cut, they have the highest seeding, followed by the guys that didn't make the cut, followed by the guys that have
Qualified.
done better on their local ratings. So that's it, and we're gonna see hits with guys on the CT, one other guy that just fell from the tour, and two other guys that are coming from different parts of the world. So it's gonna be interesting. I think we're gonna have some surprises, and I really hope that we have 10 new faces next year.
And the earlier rounds are all 4 man
Besides
heats,
João
right?
Chianca.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow. I hope that's not the case. And David Silva, I would love to see David coming back.
No, yeah, DVD, right?
Yeah, and so it's the earlier rounds are 4 man heats, and then later on it becomes 2 man heats, or is it
Yeah,
like 4 men all the way?
no, it's if I'm not mistaken, when they're down to 16 surfers, so it was supposed to be a quarterfinal round. Then they split into 8 heats, man on man. And
Okay,
on
great.
the women's side, it's gonna be eight ladies, not 2 heats, but 4 heats, head to head. So it used to be like that. I'm not sure this year, but it used to be like that.
Yeah, man. I just hoping that I'm gonna be partial here. I just hope Joan does well. Just hope that DVD comes back. I mean, like you said, Ezekiel out. There's a good chance. It's gonna be interesting to see the younger ones, like especially João Morgan. Morgan is only 22. You know,
Yeah, he
it's gonna
has
see.
lots now.
Yeah, but it's gonna see how that affects them mentally versus like a more experienced athlete, right? So,
Yeah, he was
so
really depressed after he
yeah,
lost. And that's the
yeah,
one you were cheering for to be
yeah, and,
cut.
and
Remember
yeah, yeah, I
that?
was. I'm glad he was. I hope he doesn't come back. The Australians are probably gonna kill me, but no, it's like I said, I just think he just needs to do some maturing. But yeah, man, it's I want to talk a little bit about G-Land, if that's okay. So that's
Yeah,
a
sure.
that's a that's a rare wave in the circuit, in the tour. It's a left, right? So do you see the Goofies having a little more of an advantage here, or just like the Goofies do great on rights, should make a big difference? Uh, we see this is an event that was on tour for a long time, and now it's no longer, and then it keeps popping up here and there. What are your expectations for it?
Actually, I don't think the Goofies have any advantage at G-Land because the wave's perfect. It has different sections, but it's not a wave that you really need to pump to come out of barrels and things like that. It's a wave that you have to mix turns and barrels, and depends on the swell size and the tide. Like tide wise, it's very sensitive. We're not gonna have 8-hour events because the tide makes the wave disappear. So it only works like for 4 or 5 hours a day. So it depends on the tide. And the wind's usually always offshore during this time of the year, which is really good. They can run some heats in the morning and then late afternoon if the tide permits, or they can run straight end of the morning till evening if the tide permits. And it's a large playing field because you can take off. And of course, surfers won't surf the cone section, which is the first one, like very far away. But they're probably gonna surf Money Tree section and the launching pad section where it's the place where people sometimes take off. That's why it's named launch pad. But then you have the speedy section, which is the best one and the ultimate barrel section at G-Land. And there you can find barrels like 5 or 6 second trainers, man. That's unbelievable. So I don't see any advantage for the Goofies on that wave because the regular footers, they will be able to turn tighter in the pocket and do more radical turns. And usually forehand surfers on that wave, they tend to turn on rail a little more than just hitting the lip.
Mm-hmm.
So if you get like Gabriel Medina, the way he surfs waves like that, as he already proved us, he's the best in cloud break, for example, at cloud break. He can mix those hitting lips turns, where he kicks all the fins out with very nice and powerful rail turns, floaters, airs, and barrels. So if you're not Gabriel Medina or Ito Ferreira, I think you're not in big advantage being a goofy there. I sometimes I feel if you're a regular, you can stay longer in the barrel. You can just put your butt
Mm-hmm.
in on the wave, and,
Yeah.
and hold longer inside the barrel. Actually, nowadays I don't see much advantage for goofies or regulars in any wave, actually, because I think there's pros and cons for everyone.
Yeah, and I was reading somewhere that the last event there, that it was on tour, part of like the regular schedule. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but it seems like only Cali was on tour then.
Yeah,
Uh,
sure.
do you
Most
think
guys
that,
were not even born.
right? Do you think that could,
97.
right? 97? Was that it?
Yes, 97. It was 95, 96, and 97.
Whoa, that's crazy.
Yeah, because
Did
98, when we were supposed to run the event in 1998, Indonesia was facing some very unstable times politically, and there was this dictator called Soeharto, I think, and he was opposed, and then military came, and then Indonesia was kind of boiling at that time, and then the ASP opted to not run the contest, and some surfers were already there, like guys like Victor Ribas and Peterson Rosa.
Oh my God.
Remember, they went to G-Land because they were already in Bali, so they went to G-Land with Tom
And find
Carroll, and
out.
they
Yeah.
stayed there for like 10 days and surfed their brains out for like 10 days straight. And man, they just scored with no one out. And the event was not run that year, but we had 95 with Kelly winning. And then 97, I think, oh, who did win? I think it was Shane Bashan. And then next year was Luke Egan with Chris Gallagher in
Oh
the
wow.
final, something like that. But yeah.
That's OG as hell. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy. All right, man. This are we forgetting any big topics, or I think we cover most of it?
Yeah. I don't know. We have, we always have a lot of things to talk about, but man, Felipe Toledo, two things I think we should touch.
Yes, please.
Ezekiel Law's incident with the local Jacob Wilcox during the warm-up session.
I don't know that. I didn't hear about that.
No? Okay,
No,
so
please,
yeah, I'm
please
gonna
enlighten me.
I'm gonna remind you, but yeah, I'm gonna tell you what happened. You can find it on the internet. I'm not gonna show the images here, but I can show. I can show because they're not WSL images. So let me see. Let me see here.
Please. That would be actually really interesting.
Yeah, man, that was ugly
So
in
it was
my
like a
opinion.
fight?
No, it was not a fight, but he like just kicked his board, trying to, like, not trying to. I cannot say that he tried to, but he just flicked his board towards the other surfer, and he could have hit his board straight into Jacob's face or chest or back or anywhere, like ribs or anything, anywhere. So it was ugly. I'm gonna show you. Jacob Wilcox. Yeah, they had this incident. Okay, so this to this. Let's share screen and have fun. So where are you? Here we are. Share screen and this screen here. Share. You see the screen?
Yep. Yep.
So play. You still see it?
Yeah. Yeah. I see it.
All right. So Jacob, are you recording this? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm recording.
Okay. So this is Jacob. He's at like just behind Zeke, and he got
Yeah.
dropped in by Zeke, and he's a local there, and that's Zeke on the front. So just watch it until the end.
Okay. It seems friendly at first, and then okay. Was
So
Jacob was Jacob pissed off about it?
just check it. You see they're talking,
Yeah. Rough.
like you can see irony on Jake's face. He's yelling at Zeke.
Yep.
And he's a local there, remember. He has a local. He was born
Born and raised there.
just, yeah, born and raised there. So you see, they're
Yeah.
exchanging some words. And then, do you see this? You see Zeke, boom, he kicks the water and just punches the water. And then Jacob paddles back. And they're
Towards him.
still talking. They're still yelling, actually. And you see again?
Yeah.
Doesn't seem very friendly.
No. It's probably telling each other to fuck off.
Yeah, they're not.
At the very least.
They're not happy with each other. You see there?
Yeah.
He just punched the water again.
What the fuck? Was there any press about this? Did anyone get that squared off, or?
Man, I don't know. I think you were living in a cave because
Yeah.
everybody was talking about this, man, stab and everything, and people were so vocal about this case. Even Pragologia posted, but then they deleted because I don't know, maybe they have some issues. But that was it. And then you see Jacob is here
Yeah.
on the inside, and then Zeke paddles straight back to the point.
I see
So
Tachi
yeah,
there.
yeah. So these happened before the long day that we had, the round 3, and then Zeke Jacob said that he is naked. Jacob is naked Zeke on purpose because Zeke did this to him in Hawaii twice. So he just paddled around and took off behind Zeke, which is a snake, and then it's not a very good thing to do to other surfer. But he had the right to ride a wave if we were in a heat without penalty. Yeah. And then Zeke just surfed the wave into the end, so they couldn't perform. They were just making turns carefully to not hit each other. And then Jacob said he did snake because Zeke did this to him twice, and then that Zeke was always doing this to people in Hawaii, and that the place where he comes from, respect comes with respect and everything. And then they start to exchange words there, and then Zeke said, "Okay, it's enough." And then Jacob tried to give his hand, and shake his hand. He said, "Okay, we're done." And then that's when Zeke just hit the water, and then Jacob got so pissed with him because you don't do that, and especially at the other person's house. So he said, yeah, like making it shorter. Yeah, Jacob just exposed Zeke, and then he said, I don't want to cancel or expose people on the internet, but he's like that, and he acts like that. He always did, and like I've heard from so many surfers that I won't point their names, that Zeke is not very friendly and he's an asshole. And that's not me saying that. That's something that I
Yes,
heard
yeah,
not once,
yeah,
not twice, and like that nobody likes him on tour. Other surfers, just like his friends from a long time, but still he's not very friendly. And Jacob is a local at Margaret River. He did get this wild card for the seventh time already, and he seems to be a very nice guy. And Zeke, like my impression from Zeke of Zeke, since I had a contact with him in South Africa a couple years ago in at J Bay and Balito, he was very laid back. He was just cruising with his girl. Like, I think was his girlfriend at that time, wife now, and he was just hanging with the Canoa and Griffin and Jake Patterson, his coach at that time, and he was okay. He was not
normal.
vocal
Yeah,
or yeah, or noisy or anything. He was just Zeke, just being not maybe not talking to everyone like Jadson does, but that's the way he is. There's no problem with it. So I cannot judge anyone, but that's my impression of him was okay. But this thing that happened was ugly, and then people were saying that he was gonna get kicked out of the event because remember when the Brazilian guy, I don't know if you remember, Magno Pacheco, he did the same thing during a hit. He kicked, like
yes,
he flipped the
yes,
board, and
yes,
then he got kicked out of the event, and then he got a large fine for that, and
right,
then
right.
he's out of many events. And then what the rule book says is that Zeke could have been penalized the same way as Magna was because that you're not wearing a jersey there, but that's a WSL event, and it's inside the contest site, and it's between surfers, competitors, so they could have applied this rule to Zeke, and for 2 days, because his hit, I think he was on standby. I don't know what happened, but they had time to decide if he was going to run or not. And then I remember the hit 14 against Jordy Smith was out of many sporting bet sites where you can bet on surfing.
Yeah,
The hit 14 was not there, the only one. And I think WSL decided to not to run that heat and just make Jordy go through. But then maybe they had other talks, and then Zeke convinced them that he was not on purpose, or he didn't want to hurt anyone or anything like that. And he did run, and then he lost to Jordy. Anyway, he lost, and he's out of tour for this back part of the year. But yeah, let's see what happens on the QS on the Challenger Series this team. And I wish these guys all the best.
well, sending love to everybody, sending the aloha to everybody.
Yeah.
Not in Zeke style. Uh, cool. And
No.
he said you wanted to talk about Felipe as well, about
Oh
Felipe's heat
yeah,
against.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like there's always a controversy when Brazilians lose here in Brazil. Like
This time though, I thought. Okay, sorry, I'm totally
no,
interrupting
no,
you.
yeah, no. I'm
Go-
just gonna introduce this subject because 90% of the times a Brazilian surfer loses. For most of the people here, they didn't lose; they were robbed, and that's
Right.
something that I just don't believe. Like, oh, fuck this again. It's so bad.
Especially
They
when it's that
always get
close.
robbed.
Yeah. Yeah.
you
When
know
it's that.
and then I try to explain people that sometimes if it feels very weird, as I already told you about Miguel Popo's hit at Bells Beach with Callum Robson. That for me was not okay, that result. I don't agree. I won't agree, even if I talk to judges that were working there, like the city judges. I will never agree with that result. Italo's hit there for me could have gone either way, and the same with Felipe's. In my
Same.
my books here, Ned Young won the hit, and
Yeah.
for a little bit larger margin,
That's how.
slightly, yeah.
And I agree. And I think it was so like. I mean, I think also like. I don't think it was like the only difference between my opinion and yours. I think it's like I still think he could have gone either way.
Oh yeah,
But
for me too. That's
yeah,
okay. If I was
but
there
but
and it was different than my opinion, perfect, no problem.
yeah, but one of the reasons why you can see that it wasn't a big deal, because even Felipe wasn't too mad about it. Like
And
you
I
can
think
see,
that yeah, that's it's showing there on the
yeah,
background. We cannot
even
see it.
if you see after the heat, he gets a little disappointed, like a little sad. Like you can see in his face that he's not super happy, but he's not like pissed at the judging or like causing. Like you can see it's like, oh, okay, this happens. The way I read it at the time, watching his reaction, was like his reaction was, he seemed to be, obviously I'm not in his brain, but he seems to be like, oh yeah, this happens. It could have gone either way, and this time it didn't work out for me. That seemed
Yeah,
to be, yeah, maybe that would have been different if he really needed a result, and or something like that. But he didn't seem to be too angry about it.
yeah, that's it. At the post-heat interview, he was not happy, as you said,
Right.
but he, like Felipe, he swallows these things better. He's just like, okay, let's go next one, and that's something that could harm his ratings at the end of the year, because who knows, he could be in the final and he lost as a ninth place surfer. But still, I think it was very even. If you see the scores, like Felipe got an 8 on his first ride, and the judges, they threw two judges gave him an 8, and then two judges gave him a 9, and one judge gave him an 8.5. All right. So there was a 9, an 8.5, and an 8. No, no, it was not like that. But yeah, there was a spread of 1 point from the higher judge to the lower judge. So I think it was 8.5, two 8.5s, and then 1.8, and then 2.75. So he got an 8. And then Net Young got two 7.83s. It's very rare to see same scores for the same surfer on a heat. Even the head judge, he's like, hey boys, we have exactly the same score, and waves are different. They're not the same. But the judges, they didn't give that surfer the same score. The average was the same, but they gave
Exactly.
different
Exactly.
scores.
Exactly.
So that's why nowadays the head judge, they just, okay, it's a coincidence, because all the guys, some guys
Yeah.
think that this wave is better, some guys think that the first wave was better. So the average ended up being the same, but still, uh, it's all
And
right. There's no problem with it. I as me as a head judge, if I was there as a head judge, uh, I was not gonna like to have exactly the same score for the same surfer in a heat, but still, I don't see a problem on it. And then once Felipe surfed the last wave, the judges, they had 3 waves already to compare. And surfing judgment is all about comparison. So you compare waves. So on your mind, Felipe's wave, the last wave, was better than his 8. No, okay. So it was lower than an 8. Felipe's wave was better than Net Young's waves. No, so it was less than 7.83. So 3 judges gave him a 7.8. And then 2 judges gave a 1.72 and the other one 7.3. So they thought that wave was the worst amongst these 4 waves. And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
what that was my opinion as well. I was gonna
yeah.
maybe my score was gonna be a 7.3 probably. And then the average was 7.63, and
Right.
he needed 7.67. So
Right.
if this judge that gave him a 7.3 had
Give a
given
seven
him
four.
a 7.4, it was going
Yeah.
to be exactly the score he needed.
Right.
So it's very hard when we are judging to compare and say, okay, if I give this guy's gonna get through. So if I give that, the
No,
other guy's gonna
because they
get
don't
through.
have a way to know what the other guy's scores will be, and like how they're gonna calculate all the averages by themselves. It's like you have to be a
Yeah,
genius. It's like,
yeah.
yeah,
So you're like,
yeah.
okay,
The
I'm
the
I'm the lowest scoring judge of this heat so far. I know that. So I'm gonna keep, because you have to keep your thoughts in the same level, you know.
right,
So I think the judgment was on point. I don't see that wave better than the others, my opinion, because first turn could have been more critical. So, and he did a nice turn, like a laid back turn, but under the lip. And then second turn was just set up beautifully done on rail perfectly. And then the end section itself was well executed, but was not that hard section, you know, when he
correct,
just fall in the air and then
correct.
over the bricks. And I think Nets won the heat, but as you said, it could have gone either way easily, no problem.
Yeah, and like you said too, like if one thing proves that it's not like a scam or it's not like no one's been robbed, is the fact that the average was so close that there's not one judge there that could prevent or could foresee that that tight margin is going to give one guy the lead or the other. They simply put the results in, and if it gets that close, probably like if it was up to the judges, they'd probably be like, you know what, guys, let's make this like a half a point or like 0.25 just to be a little more clear what we think. They would not make it point zero three, the difference
No.
between both. So that just clarifies the whole thing for me,
And
you
if you
know?
remember, it took them like 5 minutes to give the score
Yeah,
because they were watching the replay over and over again. I'm pretty sure
and
of it.
comparing, yeah,
They were like were asking for the video guys. Just okay, put the Philippe is 8. Okay, Net Young 783 and 783. Just play. And now Felipe's last wave again and again, maybe 3 times. And then okay, now guys, you have all the waves. I have my opinion as a head judge. I won't tell you what's my opinion. You guys watch it, the waves over and over again, and then it's your turn to decide. And then whatever happens,
that's it.
happens. You
Yeah,
know,
totally.
we
Yeah,
have this kind of situation here in local events, man. Like small events, no money, nothing, just uh, like leashes and traction pads as price. And man, we don't have replays, and we're like just on our memory, like okay, this wave was better or worse than that one. We're like, oh, and then the tension just builds and builds and builds, and the longer you get, the longer it takes to for you to
release
give
the
the
score.
score.
Yeah,
Yeah, the worse it gets, man.
totally. No, it's yeah. And to me, on this uh heat, there was no controversy. It was like it was a close heat, could have gone either way. End of
Yeah,
story.
yeah, and then
Yeah,
to end like that Jadson wave, I think he just surfed the wave in a way that he could done better. You know, the first term was awful. You know, he just went up and then stopped at the top and then turned with the bottom of the board, not with the rail. There was no flow. And then second turn was short just to make a setup for the last turn. That was a good one, very good. But still, I think the 493 was a good score for that wave. It could have been a 5-5 maybe.
his other wave
Okay.
though. His other wave
The
though.
other one, the one that he
The
got
other,
a better score, a 7.
yeah, I thought that was slightly underscored. I thought that was at
Okay.
least close. I wouldn't say excellent range, but closer to. You know what I mean?
Okay. Yeah.
That was my one thing. Uh, but yeah, and honestly, I thought the second one could have been at least a 5, but very close. You know, it's like again, I don't think it was a big controversy because Jordy Smith both ways in the end were better.
Yeah. Yeah.
So no problem
That's
there.
true.
Yeah. All right,
And
bro.
there, our friend Caipo Guerrero, people make people making fun of him, man. I'm so
Poor
tired.
man. Yeah.
John Florence, you're a winner.
And then
Oh,
the
poor
girl
guy, man.
commentator called him Jack Florence too.
Jack Florence. Yeah. And then the other guy just making fun. Hey, congrats, Jack Johnson.
Oh my god.
That
I
was
love it.
epic.
See, but that makes it even better. That just makes it like, real. Like these are humans having fun. It's just surfing. It's
Yeah,
not the
man. Yeah.
Oscars. It happens.
Yeah, we are on your side, Kaipo.
Yeah, Team Kaipo.
Yeah.
All
Okay,
right.
brother. Thanks for your time again.
Yeah, another one. Congratulations to you and to us and to Brazos, episode 10. Hopefully,
Yeah.
we'll have 10 million episodes sometime soon.
And then we were talking about the Challenger Series. It starts already in 2 days, the May 7th. So
Nice.
it's already
I'm
May
gonna,
6th in
I'm
Australia. So next day, like next day, no, tomorrow.
tomorrow.
Next day, it's
Yeah,
good, man. It's a
I'm gonna
different
try
way to say.
to stay tuned, especially for finals day. So I'll try to cover that to the best of my ability.
All right,
Awesome,
that's good.
bro. All right, man. Enjoy the weekend. I hope you go out
Yeah,
and
you too. Have a good one.
surf the tropical cyclone and enjoy your cleaning that you have to do now.
Yeah, I'm gonna wash some dishes here and then have dinner. Thank you.
Awesome, brother. All the best. Thank
See
you,
you
everyone.
guys.
Bye.